Okay, so as I said, thank you for taking the time to join us today. We've got our live Q&A session with Pheasey Park Farm Primary School. So you all know me from previous webinars. My name is Haylie and I'm the education consultant here at EducationCity. I am a former teacher and former Senko as well, sort of specialising in SEND. And I'd like to introduce you to Sarah Morgan and Louise Eveson from Pheasey Park Farm Primary School. Hello, ladies.
Hello. Hello.
So Sarah and Louise, would you mind just introducing yourselves?
Hi, I'm Sarah Morgan. I'm currently assistant head teacher at Pheasey Park Farm Primary School. I'm also leading our school as we are a demonstrator school at the moment, supporting schools with the DFE to support their EdTech rollout. So that's currently my main focus. But I have had experience also of being a Senko and obviously teaching the classroom for a number of years as well.
Hi everyone, I'm Louise Eveson. I'm currently a Year 5 class teacher and also working in a role as part of the demonstrator school process. I am now an MIE expert as well and also the MIE school lead.
Okay, thanks for that. And just before we get started as well, can you tell us just a little bit about your school?
Yes, we are a three-form entry primary school. We've got around about 650 children on roll currently, and we do have a children's centre attached as well. So with around about 750 children on site. We have recently been working, as I've said, with the DFE as a demonstrator school to support a large number of schools around across the country with their EdTech journey. And ensuring that they're prepared for what life is currently bringing us, which we don't really know what that's going to be, but for remote and online learning and other elements of EdTech development. We have used EdTech ourselves to move our school forward, and we'll go on to discuss that more as we go through, but that's currently where we're at. We are part of a MAT of other schools, our Elston Hall MAT, and we're the 5th school within that MAT, so we're all working together.
Fantastic, thank you. So just before we get started, everybody, if you've attended one of our webinars before, you know that you can ask questions if you wish to. There is a Q&A button on your screen, and you can click into that and ask a question of myself or Louise and Sarah if you wish to. There's an anonymous function there as well. So if you'd rather ask the question anonymously, you can do that as well just by clicking in that box. So feel free to ask as we're going through, but as always, any questions you've got at the end, you can always ask those as well. Okay, so getting started, ladies. You've given us a bit of a background of your school, but can you give us more of a background about your journey with EdTech or education technology?
Yes, well, when we first started our EdTech journey, it's around about 6 years ago now, Mrs. Lanny, the current executive head teacher of Pheasey, she took on the school, and we were in a category then, and teaching was described as dusty and learning was described as passive. So we did need something to help us move that in the right direction, and technology seemed to be the route that motivated our children and our staff. So we did use it to help us with school improvements, not only for the teaching and learning side and raising standards, but we also looked at it for other areas which the school needed support with, such as behaviour and attendance. So initiatives were put into place using technology as like the catalyst for our school improvement, and to make that happen and make that possible, it was led by having a really strong EdTech vision by the head teacher, who ensured that all the staff knew where we were going. The governing body was fully behind us and informed of every step that was going to happen. And it was used as a very powerful tool to support us making progress in the different areas, as I've mentioned. We also not only use it to raise standards and the behaviour and the attendance, but we also use it to form really special partnerships with some other schools and with companies, and that was in the UK and working globally, and I think that's really been part of our journey as well. We've made a lot of contacts with companies such as EducationCity, who we very much trust working with, and I think that helps us as a school develop a sense of passion really with the EdTech that we use with our school.
Fantastic, thank you. And just continuing on with that, I know previous conversations you've sort of mentioned that you like to leave your, as your children leave the school, you like to leave them equipped with their skills for life.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, do you think sort of EdTech's quite a massive part of that?
Yeah, definitely. We do look to ensuring that our children, as I've said, we have got a children's centre. So even when they join us there, they've got device access and interactive whiteboard access and different tools. But our whole mission is to ensure that our children have a fair deal for the future. And we know that when they leave us, that they're going to have to be in a world where EdTech is part of their life, if not integral to it. And we always say that we are preparing them not only for education and for their learning for the maths and the English, but the bigger picture is that these children are going to be using tech in all areas to be able to facilitate those other areas of learning. And we do joke sometimes and say the babies who we've got coming in at the Children's Centre, we don't know yet what tech they're going to be using when they leave us, because it probably hasn't been developed yet. But what we know is our job is to prepare them for it, no matter what that might be. So we're very much as a whole staff behind the vision that's been set. And that's what enables us to build on not only skills of maths and English and all the other areas of the curriculum, but definitely with the child's EdTech development. It is integral for their well-being and their whole life going forward in this world, we feel.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Completely. It's changed so much since I was a child. We've just got a Q&A at the moment. So what other content providers do you use? So obviously you use EducationCity as part of your school's implemented tools. You've mentioned previously as well that you use OneNote and Smartboards. Is that right?
We do. So we have a really good relationship with smart technologies as well. We've worked with those for a long time. So we do use smart software and smart hardware. Part of that is some really, really useful online software that the children engage, and we do link our EducationCity through part of the smart services. We do use My Maths as well, and we'll use features of that. And we also look at Purple Mash as well. But for us, we look at what the child really, I mean, for us, it's all about the children and what they seem to get a lot out of it. And some year groups show an enthusiasm towards certain areas. Some children get turned on by certain apps and software that we use. So we do let the children take the lead to a degree, but also, as hopefully you'll see as we go through the presentation, we do look for feedback from parents and what works for them, because they're the ones supporting at home, what works for our staff, and we very much get the voice of the staff, and the children do form part of it as well.
Love that. No, that's fantastic. And I love that you're quite a consultative school in that manner, that you consult both pupils, parents and staff members as well. Moving on then, so we've talked about sort of the background of the school. Sorry, bear with me. How do you use sort of EdTech to support your school's vision?
So we have a really clear vision for EdTech, which we share with all of our partners, and we work with trusted partners who we know will support us in delivering the quality learning activities for our pupils. And EducationCity has helped us to ensure that children have got access to those engaging content. The activities are really easy to use. The children are really familiar with navigating around the site, and we feel that it benefits our pupils greatly. Staff have also been able to have training sessions, and that includes NQTs, and that's really developed their confidence in using this technology as well. And we will definitely continue to do that going forwards. We've been able to set learning activities in the classroom and as homework as well. So there's that dual approach. It can be accessed in school and at home, you know, so during a lockdown or anything like that, the children can still have a continuous provision. And the activities are automatically scored, which gives teachers a really good understanding of pupil progress. And also parents are able to see what their children are learning. So that's providing some links with parents and helping them to feel involved in their children's education.
What we're also doing is taking away the element of it being homework for the children at the moment. We're working very much on trying to get like just a learning environment for the children, because we've got the situation now where some children are at home, some children are in, a bubble could close, a school could close. We don't really know what's going to happen. We wanted to take away the homework, schoolwork kind of life, and we're aiming towards just a learning environment for our children, whether they're here, whether they're in the class, whether they're at home or wherever they might be. They're able to, because of how we've structured it and the likes of EducationCity supporting us, they can get the same quality provision in the classroom as they can at home. And it doesn't matter if they're unable to use the device because the parent's working on it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They could complete the same activity at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, even if the school day's shut. So we're trying to move away from like classwork, homework. We're just trying to make it learning.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So would you say sort of that EducationCity, as well as supporting the school's vision, has also supported sort of students in their learning goals as well?
Definitely. The activities can be differentiated so easily. So children that are working, you know, AMAT, year above, they can have content that suits them. And similarly, if you've got SEN pupils, you can differentiate it really easily, dipping into, you know, learning objectives lower down the school. So I feel that it really supports the pupils' learning goals in that sense.
Excellent. We've actually had a couple of questions on that target in terms of do you use anything specifically targeted for SEND students, and how do you support children with English as a second language?
So what I love about EducationCity is there are lots of phonics activities on the website. I've previously set those for pupils with SEND or with EAL as well. So that can be easily delivered to those individual pupils so that it supports their learning and it goes at their pace.
Excellent, thank you for that, and thank you again for the questions. Please do keep them coming, any questions that you might have. So moving on to our next question. For some reason, there we go, that's better. So we know schools up and down the country have created our sort of contingency plans for both current and future situations, sort of where we are at the moment. How has EdTech fed into your contingency planning?
So it's been absolutely vital in lockdown and going forwards as well. So we've tried to use our experiences from the first time around the first lockdown and work closely with parents to make sure that it's purposeful, and we've made tweaks to what we've done to make it even better. We've been able to set work on OneNote with links to EducationCity activities, and these can be really easily differentiated, as I said, for AMAT or SEN pupils or EAL, because you can select content for specific learning objectives for different year groups. The Learn screens link seamlessly with the matching activities and worksheets, which removes that heavy lifting from teachers to support them in their demanding role, really. And we also feel that it meets the needs of all learners. It's got really clear guidance for pupils.
Brilliant, thank you for that. Just checking, no questions. So you mentioned a little bit earlier on about sort of the use of EducationCity with parental engagement. Do you want to expand on that a little bit more?
Yeah, sure. So as part of our auditing, we did ask parents what they thought about the different software that we were using. And we had some lovely feedback. So the feedback about EducationCity was really positive. Parents mentioned it being easy to use, engaging, motivating. It's definitely helped to support parents because the learn screens are clear and provide children with the understanding that they need. And this helps to support parents as the skills are being demonstrated really clearly for them.
We felt it was really important to get the parents' view on it because, like, as we've all experienced through the full lockdown and as we are probably all experiencing now or will do shortly, children are going to be working remotely for whatever reason, and it will be the responsibility of the teachers to provide the high quality learning to make sure children are still moving forward with their education. But obviously there is a job for the parent, especially of primary school children, to be able to help them facilitate the activities. Now one of the comments back from the parents was as well that because EducationCity is so engaging and so accessible and easy to use with the children, they did feel that the parent could work at home at the same time as the child completed high quality learning through some of the activities that we asked them to do on EducationCity. We do supplement what we do, so the children are given EducationCity as a part of a lesson activity, not as the sole activity. But the parents did say that when they got to the EducationCity bit, the children are able to do that quite independently, and that was from quite low down the school as well. So I think that's a real positive plus for us going forward.
Fantastic. We've just got another question here asking, can teachers add audio to the activities for those pupils who require additional guidance, or with the videos? So from an EducationCity perspective, for the person who asked that question, no, you can't add voice guidance. However, I know, ladies, that you use sort of OneNote in the school to kind of communicate with both students and parents. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. So it's very easy for teachers to insert that directly into OneNote. So that feedback is there, and that you can give an introduction to different activities if you wish to. It's a very quick process for the teachers to do. So that's the way that we would get around that.
Excellent, thank you. I hope that answers your question, but if you've got any more questions, like if you want to know a bit more about the product, wait until the very end. I can give you my email address and we can get in touch and have a bit of a chat about that as well, for anybody wanting to know a little bit more about sort of EducationCity itself. Moving on to our next question that we've got for you. So what has the impact of EdTech, such as EducationCity, had on your school? I know you've already mentioned some of these areas already, but on your sort of school pupils, sort of everything as a whole, what would you say?
So we really do feel that having EducationCity is giving children a real sense of a bit of normality. You know, it's a really difficult time for everybody, but particularly for children. And having that familiarity with EducationCity, which we built up, you know, before, has meant that during lockdown, they were familiar with the software. It gave a little bit of comfort, a bit of a comfort blanket for them when learning at home. And we feel that's made the whole process really smooth for everybody, teachers and pupils. I think that teachers feel that they can find everything they need to support their children's learning, and the children are definitely more engaged and interested in the activities because of EducationCity.
That's brilliant. I love that. I love that it's got that element of familiarity for them, so it keeps them sort of, it's that sort of continuity, isn't it? Have you noticed any sort of measurable results on sort of the learning outcomes for any of your students?
Children just seem a lot more keen to learn when they're using the tech. It does make it more engaging for them. It's bright and colourful, and I think that means that they understand the content better. You know, particularly with things like long multiplication, if you've got something a little bit engaging to show them, it does make a difference. And the feedback from the pupils, certainly in my class, has been that they love to use the videos and the activities.
And what we were very conscious as well during the lockdown, because it did go on for quite a while. We know that the government advice was to make sure that you cover content of the curriculum, you cover it as opposed to pushing forward. We're very conscious now that if the children are to be remote learners, or we were to go into another lockdown, the idea is that we do not hold the children back. We have to move forward with their learning, quite rightly, whether they're in the classroom or whether they're at home. So for us, using the different elements that we have, such as OneNote, such as Smart Tech, as well as EducationCity and some other apps as well, we feel that we do give the children a rounded approach to the learning, and we are able to give them feedback, and for us, being able to give them some sort of feedback it is vital for the children to know whether what they're doing is correct, or whether they need a bit of support on that, and how we can get some workflow back and forth and move children on at their own pace, really. So EducationCity did help us with that element as well, and continues to do so, because we are obviously all in a catch-up curriculum mode as well. And having to support the children now they are back, and those gaps which may have appeared for some of our learners, and the likes of EducationCity can be used there as well as part of catch-up, because it can be personalised, it can be structured, and obviously it's very much enjoyable for the children, so it keeps the buzz of learning happening.
Brilliant, thank you. So again, just another question. How easy is it to integrate EducationCity with OneNote?
It's really straightforward. It's a case of pasting the link into OneNote from the My Cities area, which is the area that the children log into in EdCity to get their tasks. And it's literally a case of inserting the link into OneNote, and the child can then go into their OneNote workspace and click on the link, and it will take them straight there. So it's really seamless. We've used it that way, and the children have been able to get on and access content really well.
Excellent, thank you. If anybody wants to know a little bit more about that, bear with me, because we will give you a couple of details at the end for you to find out a little bit more about that as well. We've got a couple more questions left for you, ladies. Moving on, we've got how do you plan to continue engaging your students with EdTech such as EducationCity?
So to get the best from any of our products, we ensure that we train our staff. So I mentioned earlier that we've had NQT training, we've also had, we've got some whole staff training coming up, and we've had some individual training as well. So that's given our staff that high quality CPD. We aim to continue to do that.
Which we feel as a school is so worthwhile, investing time into your staff's professional development, and that has been part of, I think, us coming on the journey that we've had. For us to get to where we are, the head teacher's very much given us time to either play around with some of the tech, or have time for staff training meetings where we can have a look at what we're doing, or we can have external training to support it, or we upskill ourselves and then we disseminate across our staff. Having that professional development for us is key, because if the teachers are confident in the use of it, we know that they're going to use it to the best ability, and then therefore the children are going to get the best deals. That is really crucial for us.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Sorry, Louise, carry on.
Just to mention as well, we've got EducationCity ambassadors in our school. So 7 of our staff members have started that journey, and they will help to roll out, different training, and help other staff to understand different elements as well.
Fantastic, thank you, ladies. So I suppose you've already answered this already, but what advice, if any, would you give to any school using EdTech such as EducationCity for the first time?
I think letting the staff, as Sarah said, have a play with the technology first, just to get used to it and familiarise themselves with that. And then also giving the pupils a chance to have a play too in an informal way, so that they can get familiar, build their confidence, and then when it comes to the lessons, they're ready to go.
I think also not be frightened to ask for help or ask a question, because no question should be left unanswered. If you've got the question, then ask it, because either somebody in your school might know, or if not, the staff at Education City are so helpful that you can ask them, and you will get an answer back, which is fantastic.
Thank you so much for that. On that note of questions, we have just had another question. Can this also be used in Microsoft Teams? I'm assuming you mean with regards to pasting the link into OneNote. Yes, it can be done in Microsoft Teams. Paste the link in, send it out to your pupils, and they will be able to follow the link to complete that work. We've also just had a question now. How do you use the assessment element of EducationCity to create individual learning plans for pupils? So is there any particular areas of EducationCity that you use from the assessments to create individual learning plans?
So I know that some staff have utilised the assessment area, and it's great because it does give you a score for the children, which means that staff can then have a look at children's forward planning and tailor that to them. And also if a child has got an IEP, if they're SEN or AMAT as well, they can use those assessments to inform their IEP. So it might flag up an area that they're finding tricky, and the assessments are brilliant because they do demonstrate any areas that children are struggling with, and it does auto mark it as well, so teachers can see straight away which areas they've struggled with.
That's brilliant, thank you. And if I can just add on that as well, we do obviously have our sort of success tracker that you're able to view any data from any marked assessments or activities on. So that's a really good way of keeping track of where your pupils are at. Right, well, I think we've come to the end of today's session. Has anybody got any further questions, either for myself or for our ladies from Pheasey Park Farm Primary? Well, we're waiting to see if any pop up there. If you would like to know more, if you want to contact the ladies either by for the DFE Demonstrator School information, or if you want to know a little bit more, you can get in touch with them via edtech-demonstrator.lgfl.net. That's edtech-demonstrator.lgfl.net. Any questions for them at all. And once again, if you know my webinars and you want to get in touch with me, you can do via customer service at educationcity.com. If you want answers to any questions that weren't asked today, or if you'd like a little bit more information, if you have asked a question, please do get in touch. There's also still time to join our CPD webinar on the 10th of November at 3:45. This is a fully CPD accredited hours webinar. And again, if you want to know more, you can get in touch. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us today. That has been really helpful for me. I don't know about anybody else, but that has been really helpful. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
No problem. And for everybody else, oh, we've got a quick question just appeared. That was just in time, I think. Oh, Rob, thank you, Rob. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Until next time, everybody, do take care and stay safe. You are very welcome. Bye-bye.